Our adventure started in the town of Kamyup in the Canenni region. The meeting point was at the Oppoy rest camp, a firm favorite of adventure leader Bernie Williams. They have an amazing pool and a restaurant that serves great meals. We set up camp and settled in for the night in anticipation of what lay ahead, knowing that we were certainly going to experience challenges along the way.
What a good stuff.
MegaXplore and 4x4 MegaWorld initiated the Kokafel adventure in April of 2025. Namibia had received an above-average rain season in 2025, and according to those in the know, a once-in-25-year occurrence. Many other rivers were still flowing strong. After a hearty breakfast, we headed to Ruacana to catch a glimpse of the falls. It promised to be spectacular as the Canenni River was in full flood. But before heading to the falls, a quick stop to refuel and do some final shopping. This would be the last reliable fuel stop for the next approximately 700 kilometers. Our convoy arrives at the Ruacana Falls viewpoint, led by Bernie Williams, Francois and Pietro Martins in a Hilux, Arno and Annalene Fasagi in their Ford Raptor, Uncle Jim French from the UK in his Toyota Land Cruiser, Fred Ratzlaff and Flip Murray in a 200 Cruiser, and CEO of 4x4 MegaWorld, Dion Venter. To say that the falls were spectacular would be an understatement. Around 20 kilometers upstream on the Canenni River is the Kalek Dam. Construction on the dam started in 1972. The construction site was protected by the South African Army, and in 1988 it was attacked by MiG-23s, and 11 South African soldiers sadly paid the ultimate price. After leaving the falls, we headed on to the well-known D3700 in an attempt to reach Epupa Falls. But first, time to stop and deflate tires. The Canenni River had flooded big sections of the road, making for interesting driving and detours, leading to recoveries to be done. The going was very, very slow. Uncle Jim French has become a good friend. He's all the way from the UK. For the last 21 years, he has traveled to Southern Africa, 6 weeks here and 6 weeks back home. At the age of 83, he does not shy away from a challenge and still assists with the recovery of his vehicle. That is a normally aspirated 4.2 donkey cruiser, and she is really heavy. Come to think of it, a Longhorn, a sofa, we might not own one, but I suppose the rear seat of a Land Cruiser can also work. Had we gotten here a week or two earlier, there would have been no way to get through, and it would have resulted in a huge detour to get to Epupa Falls. With conditions being the way they were, it was a matter of time before someone else would need to be recovered. The water table was extremely high, and once a few vehicles passed over a damp patch, it would turn into that sinking feeling. In these circumstances, not even mud-terrain tires can help you, as they have zero traction. Luckily, the benefit of traveling with friends is that there's always somebody available to assist. Correct quality recovery gear on such an adventure is extremely important, but most importantly is knowing how to use it correctly and safely. You also want to make sure that you have your own recovery gear, that the weight of your rig has been taken into consideration. Nothing worse than using your gear to help someone else. It then gets damaged, and when you need to use it, you are left with a dilemma. Our overnight spot was supposed to be at the Canenni River Lodge, but alas, it was flooded. We headed out for around another 10 kilometers and found a suitable wild camping spot on the banks of the Canenni River. We all love a good wild camp, but when wild camping like this, it is wise to wear closed shoes, using a strong spray-on chemical to ward off things like ticks and sand lice. The whole afternoon the weather was looking rather ominous and we were expecting a good storm in the night, but it moved off and fortunately missed us. It had moved in a westerly direction, more or less where we were headed. We awoke to another glorious day in Africa. Flip and Fred had picked up a slow puncture somewhere along the way, so luckily the built-in ARB compressor came to the rescue. Today we had around 300 kilometers detour to reach Epupa Falls via the village of Okongati. We had no idea what the road conditions would be like, but we knew to expect plenty of washaways. We had to make our way back to the Swartboysdrift junction. This river was but a small stream yesterday, and now it was flowing strongly. So our storm of the night before has caused the water levels to rise substantially. However, it did make for great content though. We took a detour to reach Epupa Falls, which took us past the Dorsland Trekker Monument. The Dorsland Trek took place from 1874 to 1881, and these boys trekked north into Angola, but many returned. On their way back, malaria had played havoc amongst them.
Monument vir die Dorsland Trekkers wat Angola toe getrek het. They moved to Angola and unfortunately conditions were very harsh and they had to make their way back, and in the process a lot of them perished because of malaria. So if we have a look at some of the graves, some graves of children that are 2 and 3 years old, so it's very sad. So this is just to commemorate the Dorsland Trekkers. And as you'll see there's a sign that says Dorsland Trek Gedenkfees. It was 1928 to 2018. So this is in memory of the Dorsland Trekkers.
The drive to Epupa was simply spectacular with the most amazing scenery. The signs of the amount of water that flowed in this area was abundantly clear, with damage to vital infrastructure. The people in the know say this is a once in 25-year occurrence, with places measuring up to 3 to 4 times their normal yearly rainfall. The upside was that Namibia was as beautiful as ever.
It's a little bit interesting, there's a lot of water flowing here. So I suggest you engage 4-wheel drive, at least 4 high, and we'll work our way through this.
Namibia is well known for its well-maintained gravel roads. Roads that get damaged after rains are quickly and efficiently repaired. The sight of the village and the huge Makalani palm trees are something to behold. The view of the falls from the viewpoint is breathtaking. These falls stretch over 1.5 kilometers, and with the Canenni River in flood was simply breathtaking. We spent the night at Epupa Falls Lodge and campsite. It comes highly recommended.
Ons is by Epupa camp in lodge and whatever. Dis ook oom Koos Verwys se kamp. Koos was quite a legend in this area. He was a member of the Special Forces, and sadly he fell down the stairs at his private home and got badly injured. He was transported down to Windhoek and he succumbed to his injuries. But the place is still being run and very well managed and maintained. So we're right here on the edge where the falls start. As you can see, the Canenni is really raging, and right behind us is a beautiful swimming pool, and I think that's where we're all headed right now.
Their restaurant serves delicious meals, and we decided to spoil ourselves proper at the restaurant. From Epupa Falls, we had to head back to Okongati, but that is a story for another day. The next part of our Namibia adventure is where the spectacular scenery and fun really starts, leaving us in awe and keeping us on our toes.